What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Motivational Monday with Morgan. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to get disciplined, and I'm going to encourage you to put in the work. So if you've been listening to my podcast, you know that I like to start off with a quote sometimes. So that's what I'm going to do today. This is a quote by Shanna Kerp, and she says, "Successful business owners don't sit around and wait for motivation. Who has time for that? Instead, they choose to work on their business every day." Why? Because over time, they've formed habits that help them stay disciplined. This is what keeps them going when times get tough. Discipline, not motivation. And in those times is when they push and grind, and they later find out that their motivation and comes with sweat and tears. Okay, so gonna break that down for a minute. Motivation is one thing, but motivation will only get you so far. You need to truly create those disciplines and put in the work every single day, okay? Because without discipline, the hard days are gonna be even harder, and you're probably gonna quit. On the hard days, there's no motivation running through your blood. It's the discipline that you've created little by little over time that's gonna help you get through the hard times in your business or just in life. So, point number one I wanna make is, what are some pro tips on how to build self-discipline, okay? I've got a couple here. So number one is know your struggle, okay? What are your weak points? Where do you feel like you break down? Whether that's when certain things happen in your life, or what emotional muscle kind of are you weak at? I know that I have them, I certainly do, and it's usually when someone says something bad about me, or somebody, questions my character or questions my intent, right? That is where it really, really eats me up inside, right? That's something I struggle at mentally, is I have to create that thick skin. And I've done so well over time, but I still know what my weak points are, okay? And so how does that relate to discipline? Well, you're gonna have moments in your life, you're gonna have a lot of moments in your life if you're building something worthwhile, where there's gonna be people that say things about you that are unkind and untrue, and you cannot let that break you. So if you know that's your struggle, you need to work on, how do I protect my mindset? How do I first get that thicker skin and know in my heart and soul that I don't need their validation, right? So I know that that's a struggle of mine that I've worked on, and now when it comes my way, it hurts for a lot less time than it used to, okay? So number one on building self-discipline is just knowing where you struggle, whether it's what I just explained to you or something else that you have. Maybe you struggle with waking up early in the morning. Maybe you struggle with staying focused, after a certain time at night. Maybe you struggle with following through on performance management with your employees. So again, just identifying and getting really honest with yourself of, where do I struggle in life or in business? And then also on the flip side, number two is know where you succeed. What are your strengths, right? Don't just focus on your weaknesses. You want to feed your strengths, okay? So where are your strengths? How can you use them to your advantage? And you have to be really clear on what you know that you're good at, because also that's going to help you build the right people around you that can fill in some of those gaps. So identifying your struggle, identifying where you succeed, and then goals, okay? Let's go back to, how do you become disciplined? Identify and write down your goals. And I'm going to get a little bit deeper into this in a little bit, right, of how I believe you need to create your goals. But if you do not write things down on paper, or if you don't set that vision for yourself, then you are just living life aimlessly, okay? So part of being disciplined is writing things down and staying true to them, and making sure that you are actually getting yourself closer to what you have said you're gonna do. Visualize your outcome, okay? If you're not creating a vision, I just said this, you are gonna just be going through life with going through the motions, okay? And you're never gonna achieve what you absolutely can, right? What your full potential is. But have you ever really sat down and visualized what that next version of you looks like? I can remember in 2021, towards the end of the year, I did not feel good about I just didn't feel good. I was in a low place, right? From a business perspective, I was feeling a lot. There was a lot on my shoulders. There was just a lot going on. I'm not going to get into it. But that, to me, sticks out as a moment when I didn't have a visualization of the future Morgan. But I knew I needed to. And so 2022 hit, and I did just that. I said, who do I want to be at the end of the year? I want to be a stronger woman. I want to be a more confident woman. I don't want what other people think of me to impact me so much. I want to be a better mother. Like, I sat down and visualized and wrote down, who do I want to be at the end of the year? And guess what? I did not just let life happen. No, I worked on those things every single day, right? I hired a coach. I joined a mastermind. I went on retreats where I could get connected to my goals and my purpose and my why and my vision. And so visualize the outcome. Visualize what you want to be. And then work every single day at that, right? Because rent is due every single day, okay? Nothing in life is free. Nothing will be handed to you. So rent is due every day, but visualize, what do you want that outcome to look like? Don't wait for it to feel right. That's my next tip. Waiting, like being ready is like a lie, okay? You are never gonna be ready for that next thing. There will never be the perfect timing to, start a business or join something or start a new routine, or there's gonna be excuses all the time. Is like, oh, I should wait until this. I'm just not ready for this. I oftentimes hear a lot when people are thinking about starting Burn Boot Camp that they think they need to get in shape first before coming to boot camp. And I think this kind of, translates to my point is, don't wait for it to feel right. Just start. Just start, even if it's messy, even if you don't feel ready. Take that step into the gym, right? And I tell people all the time, no, thankfully at Burn Boot Camp, you don't have to be ready to start a boot camp. We're gonna meet you where you're at, but if you don't just start, then how are you ever gonna get ready, right? How are you ever gonna get to that point where, you are ready? Because like I said, there's always gonna be excuses as to why it's not the right timing. So if it's in your heart and you keep thinking about it, just go after it. Forget about the excuses. Forget about if you're ready or not. Start small, okay? Now, I love big goals. I love audacious goals. I love big visions for yourself. But all of that's great, but you got to break it down, okay? I've talked about that before, like breaking it down to rocks and milestones. Start small, okay? So when you're talking about healthy habits and disciplines and those little things that you do every single day that add up to a big discipline, you have to start small, okay? Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to overthink being a disciplined human being. You just need to be consistent. Do those small things every single day. You want to start reading a book more. You want to read 20 books in a year. Great, okay. Start small. I'm going to read 5 pages a day. Okay, don't put yourself in positions to fail. Do what makes sense for you, and those little habits day after day after day will add up when you get to reflect back on what you accomplished in the last year. Get a mentor, okay? I mentioned to you guys back in 2021 that I was feeling at a low place. I technically hired 2 mentors, right? I had a mastermind and I had a business coach. And it was for 2 different purposes, right? There was a mental component to it that I needed to really sharpen my mental game and build this force field around me and create the tools that I needed to not care about the weight of things that I felt. But then I also needed a practical coach to help me navigate through some of the challenges from a business perspective. So hire a mentor, okay? Hire a mentor. Hire somebody that is actually going to hold you accountable. And make sure it's someone who you align with. There's a lot of different health coaches, life coaches, mastermind coaches. There's a lot out there, but I really think it's important that you're connected to somebody that's giving you the tools and you aren't like relying on that mentor to live for the rest of your life, right? They're giving you tools. So hey, you can see yourself evolve. You have somebody to go to when you have a problem. I have a business coach where if I have something that went wrong at work, I know I have that meeting on the calendar and I'm gonna talk about how could I have done that differently? Let's talk through that. Let's think about it. And so just having a resource to go to. Hey, maybe it's a therapist, right? Mentors and therapists, hey, they're kind of the same thing sometimes. Helping you, giving you tools to process and navigate through certain things in your life. And then last one is practice, fail, and start over. Okay, practice, fail, and start over. And this really relates to you're never gonna be ready. So, hey, use things as practice reps and you're gonna fail. I've failed a lot, okay? Everybody that's successful has failed. If you're not failing, you're not learning and you're not growing. So give yourself that permission to say, oh, I just failed at that. That was a nice practice rep. I'm gonna start over and here's what I'm gonna do differently this time. Here's how I'm gonna learn from that failure and here's how it's gonna make me better. So those are my tips on how to build self-discipline in your life. So I want to elaborate more on how you can truly set some productive goals, okay? One of my tips with getting disciplined and having that self-discipline is writing down your goals. But I want to elaborate a little bit more because it's not just saying that you're going to write 5 goals down. Now I want you to take it to the next level. So I'm going to share with you 6 buckets, okay? Devin and I do this every year, 6 buckets in your life. What is the goal? And then taking it to what are you going to start doing and what are you going to stop doing? So our 6 buckets are number 1, money and assets. Okay, so again, what is your goal with money and assets? And then what do you need to start doing? And then what do you need to stop doing? Okay, the second one is family and friends. Okay, second bucket is family and friends. So again, what is that goal as it relates to your family and your friends? Start and stop. Career and business, health and fitness, development and growth, and then rituals and routines. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys an example of one of my goals for this year under the development and growth bucket. Okay, so I want to become a level 5 leader. Okay, and that is just a goal of mine is to take my leadership to the next level. So what do I need to start doing? I want to read 15 new development books. What do I need to stop doing? Watching TV at night. Okay, so that is how I want you to frame your goals up, right? So what is that audacious goal? And then how are you going to get there? And this is where the habits come in. Okay, so if I have a habit of watching TV to decompress at night, I need to change that habit. So I need to stop doing that and I need to start picking up a book 30 minutes before I want to go to bed and letting myself check out that way versus TV. Okay, and so now with that habit is going to create me being more interested in investing in myself, more interested in learning new things versus the habit of watching TV. And that's going to translate in a lot of different ways in my life, right? And so that's a little habit. It's 15 minutes, 30 minutes every night that I'm talking about, where I'm going to do something so small, but it's going to compound for the whole year for me, right? If I can read 15 new development books or do things that can help me become the next level leader that I want to be, imagine where I am going to be in a year, right? That vision is going to come to life more and more because I've created those rituals and those habits. So that's how I would recommend that you structure your goals. Whether you match those buckets or not, don't just write the goal down, okay? Be specific about the goal and then make sure that you are then creating the action around that, the stop and the start. So thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that you have subscribed to the podcast. Subscribe to YouTube. We are everywhere. Come follow me on Instagram, morgan.a.klein. I would love to chat with you there. And I'm going to end this like I always do. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.